In this video, we're going to be taking a quick look at how to utilize the gun asset from the Double Agent female pack made by Libertas Armory. I already have my character set up here. I'm just going to need an animation. So I'm going to choose an animation from the Lady Agent content pack. Re-illusion is created. Let's just see what it looks like. Right now I have the gun asset is attached to the hand, but we can see that it's set down just a little bit too much. So one of the things that I'll do right now is reorient the gun. That might be better. All right, let's see. I'm gonna bring that keyframe all the way back to the beginning so that it goes across the entire timeline. I like it a lot. Okay, so let's go to that first frame where we're gonna have that gunshot. Now typically if this was a 24 frames per second timeline, I would edit things on every one frame, but since it's a 60 frames a second timeline, I'm gonna do it for every 2 or 3. So in order to get that slide to kick back for the recoil, we are going to double click on our gun and go into edit animation layer. Now if you can turn these bone visibility on and off, you can make the bone smaller, you can bring down the opacity. Let's do that because it just really gets in the way. And then we're gonna check the slide. Now before we have that, we see that kickback right there. So typically the gun would be shot. With our animation layer, I'm gonna add a keyframe in, and then we're gonna move forward a frame, and we're going to bring the gun slide back on the Z-axis. And I'm just going to bring it all the way back to where this notching ends. Might be a little too far. Let's go one up. That looks a little bit better. And I'm gonna give it 2 frames. We're gonna bring that slide back to the origin of where it was. Boom. All right. We're also going to adjust this layer down here if we want. You can also adjust the rotation of the trigger to come back. Obviously, that's a very small detail, and you'd want to have the finger animated to do that as well. But there we go. We have a quick recoil. One of the benefits of now having animated that, we're going to select all those, copy them. Let's find this frame right before the recoil. We're going to paste. 1. 2. Like I said, with 60 frames per second, that's going to move so quickly. So maybe we'll spread that out just another frame. Give the eye a little bit longer to see that recoil. And just to give it a test, we'll do one more. Okay, and I just want to have this whole string animate 1 frame sooner. Okay, so there we go. We got that recoil. That's good. Now she turns to the side. Now that we've altered the timeline just a bit, let's copy it again. One shot, turn, and paste. There we go, we had our... So that's good. Now if you wanted to showcase the gun with, now that it's empty, we can keep that slide back and just delete this keyframe, and all of a sudden, boom, All right, so now in a couple simple steps, we've created a relatively convincing gun animation with that recoil. The other thing that I would recommend doing is adding in, especially if you're doing this for cinematics, adding in that muzzle flash. Now I composited the actual flare of the gun muzzle flash in post-production, so in After Effects. However, one of the things you can do that will really save you a lot of time in post-production is add in the flash of light. And you can do that with simply adding in a nice light sphere that will flash back at our character. So let's do that really quickly. What I'm going to do is create a light. It's going to be a point light. Bring it down over here, and I'm going to line it up with the muzzle of the gun. What I will do is I will link it to the gun. So as you'll see, now the light moves around. Of course, we don't want it on the entire time. We only want it on when the gun fires. So in order to adjust that, we're going to turn our light off in our modified panel. So let's bring that multiplier down right after we change the color. Let's make it kind of a nice yellowish, but high intensity. And the multiplier is what we're going to be adjusting. Of course, that will keyframe over time. So we're now going to go bring that light up. Okay, so I want to have that flash go right before the recoil. So now let's bring it up to, let's just do 1. Go back a frame because it's going to have adjusted over time. So we're going to bring it to 0, 1, and then I'm going to have a kind of fall off since we have such a high frame rate. So after 2 frames, it's going to come back down. So, and again, all we're going to have to do now is find each keyframe right before the gun, that slide comes back, and we'll just paste our animation for the light. There we go, and I'm just going to turn that off so we can see. Now, of course, you can do this within other programs as well, like Blender or Unreal Engine, but this is just a way to do it within iClone. It gives you the concept, right? And then, again, I would go and I put that muzzle flash in where the gun fires in post-production. Now, if you're going to do it in Engine, of course, you can always do that with an animated texture. That's going to go a little bit beyond what the scope of this video is. Hopefully this gives you a good idea of how to utilize the asset from the Double Agent female pack made by Libertas Armory. I think this is a really cool, fun way of creating the gun animations and allows you to customize it for your needs as well. Hopefully this has been helpful and gives you some inspiration how to utilize it in your next project. My name is Eric from Libertas Armory, and we'll see you in the next one.